Hey guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm back here at Jaguar Clearwater, and guess what? We have the updated, refreshed 2021 F-Type. This one is that drop-top convertible fashion and also featured in British racing green. But before we dive into this cat, let's talk a little bit about Jaguar. Jaguar's been around since the 1920s, such an iconic British brand. The XK120, the XK140, of course, those D-type Jags that won the 24 Hours of Le Mans, the most coveted of all endurance sports car events. And then, of course, you think about the connection that this car has with the past. The F-Type has a direct connection with the 1960s E-Type. And what's crazy about that car is when Enzo Ferrari, the founder of Ferrari, saw the E-Type back in 1966, he literally said that was the most gorgeous car he had ever seen. What's wonderful, fast forward to the 21st century, you get a lot of that same wonderful design element, but you're also getting 21st century amenities. And guess what? There are some big changes for 2021, not only to the outside, but also the interior. So let's go ahead, let's dive into this 2021 F-Type and see really, is it a drop-top convertible sports car that's worth the price? Right off the bat, British racing green, love the color, really ties it to the brand and where it comes from in England. You can see for 2021, all new front fascia and headlight design. They went really slim and kind of stretched out the headlight housing. On the interior, everything is blacked out, full LED headlights, daytime running lamps. You have that J-lamp design. That's something that's becoming a trademark of the Jaguar brand. We kind of drop down, you're gonna have some functional corner air inlets, and you're gonna have a corner air curtain. Everything is functional for flowing air to the coolers, but also getting air around and down the sides of this Jag. You do have headlamp washers, which is a nice little touch. It really shows the European flair of this car, and I really love this flat black lower lip spoiler. Not only does it look good, but obviously this is gonna give us some downforce and help direct air into these air intakes on the corners. Now, when we come across the newly reshaped grille, you have that beautiful brushed aluminum trim around the perimeter. I like the way they stamped F-Type right in that trim. Of course, the Jaguar badge, that name, so much rich history. Flat black on the grille design, but I really like the way that they shaped it. They gave it a nice aesthetic look, and you can see just how far that lower lip spoiler extends out. It's gonna give you, like I said, that functional downforce, but also get air into the front of this cat. Now, when we get up onto the hood, one of the sexiest hoods, the way that it rises on the front fascia here, goes into the actual hood. You have two functional heat extractors. So this is gonna bring cold air in, drag hot air out, and just like the E-Types, you have that reverse opening to the hood, which just brings back all that classic style. When we come around the bend, you can see how far that headlamp comes all the way to the corner. And then what are we working with? Wheel and tire stuff. This is a 20-inch wheel, new design, 255 on the width, and you have a very low 35 series sidewall. You can see the size of the calipers here, that Jaguar logo, obviously a fully ventilated rotor that's over 13 inches of braking capability. Really nice, clean look. We go down the side. I love the way the hood is actually part of this fender. One of the nice touches is this brushed aluminum that they bring on the side here. You got the Jaguar logo. I am gonna zonk that though, that is a fake vent. It would have been nice to have some functionality to the side vent. You got functionality up top, up front, would have been nice to have that. So that is a zonk, but you can see the lines. It's like they took a piece of clay and just carved it so beautifully. You have color matched on the mirror caps. Down below, look at the nice indentation they put on the bottom portion of the door and the way that the back kind of flares out into the rear. You have your two rollover bars, which gives it that classic British drop top fun look to it. And then when you get to the back, you have an active spoiler. Right now, obviously this is in the higher position, but this does drop down to fit flush with the rest of the trunk. And then when we drop down, you can see how they reworked the rear of the car. So you have a totally redesigned tail light, full LED brake lights, turn signals, the F-Type badge. We come across that center section. You have your third brake light integrated very nicely there. And then for exhaust, super clean. I like the way they did this massive rear diffuser and then you have that center exhaust smack dab there. Really gives it just a nice, strong look. I'm gonna have Victor kind of pop up and show you the Jaguar logo there. Just so much history all in one design. But why don't we go ahead, let's pop the hood on this Jag, or we should say the bonnet, and see what's powering it. All right guys, time to pop the bonnet on this Jaguar, that reverse opening style hood. I love this design. Underneath the hood, what's nice is for 2021, you still have engine choices. Now this one has the 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine. That is that starting point. You can get a 6-cylinder, and you definitely could still go supercharged V8. This one though, what are we dealing with horsepower wise? You're looking at a 2-liter inline-4 turbocharged engine, 296 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. It's all going to be routed through a ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. Power, of course, is going to the rear wheels. It weighs around 3,700 pounds, 0 to 60 in about 6.3 seconds. Top speed 155 miles an hour. MPG is not too shabby, 23 in the city and 30 on the highway. But this is really, I think, what makes this F-Type a little bit more versatile, is having the different engine choices depending on what you really want out of your drop-top convertible sports car. But why don't we go ahead, let's fire this up, put it in dynamic mode, and hear what that exhaust sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2021 Jaguar F-Type. I know you're saying, well, Joe, I love the style. I love the sexy style. That British racing green is making my heart pitter-patter. How much is the price of this one? The way that this one is optioned, convertible trim, you're looking right at an MSRP of $76,475. Let's see what we get for the money. To the door panels. Now, I love at the top of the door panel, you have that beautiful leather. The white contrast stitching pops nicely. All your seat controls are going to be highly mounted, very similar to what you find in a Mercedes-Benz product. You have 3 memory settings, and then you'll notice that beautiful tan leather with the white contrast stitching. Perforated on the back portion of the door panel, looks very tasteful, really brings the door alive. You have the Meridian optional sound system. You do have a small door pocket down there, maybe for a British scone or 2, but nowhere to put your cup of tea, so you're going to have to hold on to that. As you come to the interior, love the leather. The stitch work is nice. Look at this, the Jaguar. I love the way they put the year that they were established. You open it up, there is your glove compartment. It's got the felt lining, so you're not going to scratch your British Twinkies, which is important. And then when you come to the infotainment system area, these AC vents, remember, these go up and down with the operation of the AC system. I love this nice texture material. You got the Jaguar name there, established in 1935. You come down, and then this is going to be your 10-inch infotainment system screen. Real easy to use. Navigation, Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. You push the button. There is our camera out back, which is real nice. Easy to see through, and then you could go right to navigation. There we are at Jaguar of Clearwater. But the functionality of it is nice, and the way that they integrate. If you hate iPad style screens, you're gonna like this one because it's integrated very nicely. You do have dual climate control, nice texture to the buttons. I even like the way that they feel when you rotate them. It has a nice high-end touch experience to it. This material is great. I'm so glad that they didn't put a bunch of carbon fiber all over the place. It's nice to see something new. You do have your nice toggle switches for your AC controls, your start-stop button, a 12-volt, and then this is going to control that ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. Just a little bit of gloss black. You have your electric e-brake, the switch to put your top up and down, exhaust, and even your different driving modes, which is real nice because when you go through your different driving modes, I'll show you on the dash over here when you come to the business end how that changes. And then you keep working your way back. The way that they took all that leather, even the oh crap handle for your passenger is a nice touch for them. Open door number 1 here, you got your 2 cup holders, simple flat black. Open this guy up. Now, you might be able to get Twinkie in there, just one but just be prepared. It might get squished and you might squirt cream all over this beautiful interior. You do have 2 more USBs and a 12 volt in there. Close this up. Let me show you the key fob. It's a tasteful looking key fob. It's a little plain, but it's tasteful looking. You turn it around, you have your buttons on the back, pop the trunk and whatnot. And then these seats are freaking awesome. I love the Jaguar logo, the stitch work, one-piece back design. The brushed aluminum trim is really nice, and just enough bolstering to make it interesting, but nothing that's gonna squeeze play you. The leather is super soft, and you have plenty of legroom for a 2-seat sports car, even somebody taller. You have plenty of legroom in here. Obviously, with the top down, we're not worried about headroom, but why don't you come over to the business end? I wanna show you behind the wheel of this F-Type. All right, guys, business time. You can see the beautiful sill when you come in, the nice brushed aluminum, the Jaguar name that actually has LED ambient lighting that lights up at night. The bolstering on the bottom is nothing too aggressive. As you can see, up top, it's a little bit more so, but still plenty of room to move around. Steering wheel, love the thickness. The leather is so soft. You got that iconic Jaguar cat about to pounce on you and just rip your head off. Flat black, you have these silver buttons, paddles on the back of the steering wheel to go up and down that ZF 8-speed automatic transmission, electric tilt and telescoping steering wheel, which is real nice. And then feast your eyes, new for 2021 is that virtual display, that TFT display. You got the tank in the center. I'm going to show you when I go to different modes. So there we are in dynamic mode. It changes up a little bit, and that allows you to change the parameters of the engine, the transmission, all that good stuff. Even a rain, ice, snow mode. Although if you're driving this car in the snow, you're kind of crazy, but it's nice to have those touches. Seating position is great. Even where the frame for the windshield is, I feel like it's really going to direct the air very well over my head. Let's see what the top activation is like on this convertible. So I'm going to go ahead, pull up that switch, and we'll see the cloth top rise up very nicely. You get a little bit of a chime and then the windows close. But let's go ahead, check out the trunk and see how much room we have in this sports car. All right, guys, time to check out the trunk space. Before we do, I just want to show you with the spoiler all the way down, that active spoiler, just how it really accentuates the lines so beautifully off the back of this F-Type. Now to open up the trunk, real simple, you just push a button, you lift up. The great news is, whether you have the top up or top down, you still have the same amount of space back here. Now, it's not a lot. You might be able to fit one carry-on and a duffel bag if you and that somebody special are gonna go on a little lovebird vacation somewhere and you wanna take your F-Type, but that's not what this car is about. It's not about hauling a bunch of luggage around to your next destination. It's really about that emotion that you get when you drive it. And since we're talking about driving, if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's take this F-Type for a spin. All right, guys, we're in the 2021 Jaguar F-Type. We're gonna start with the top up just to get some of these details out of the way and whatnot. Plus, I wanted to see just how quiet it was with the top up. Now, the great news is, of course, especially at this price point, as to be expected, you are gonna have heated seats and you are gonna have ventilated seats. It's all done through the same knobs as the dual climate control. So the nice thing about that kind of limits how many switches and knobs and everything there are. Now I'm gonna put this into dynamic mode here, and that is actually going to invigorate the drive a little bit, change the behavior of how the transmission and the engine communicate with one another, and also how the throttle response is and whatnot. With the top up, it's actually not too loud in here. Now it's gonna obviously be a little bit more noisy than the coupe because it is a convertible cloth top, but still feels really good and nothing too obtrusive. Looking out over the hood, you have great visibility. Even out the back, a lot of times you put up a convertible top, it's like looking through a mail slot. Very clear. It almost feels like I'm not in a convertible with the amount of visibility that I have out back. I do like the input into the steering, which is great. Nice weight to it, but we'll kind of turn up the wick a little bit and really showcase how this F-Type handles. You have the paddles behind the steering wheel to go up and down the 8-speed, the ZF 8-speed automatic transmission. But let's go ahead, get on throttle, drops down, and we are off. Super smooth on the brake. brakes, nice firm pedal, feels really, really good. I'm gonna let the automatic transmission just shift for me. Back on throttle, drops down. Definitely doesn't sound like there's a four-banger under the hood on the interior, but very, very balanced and poised so perfectly, as it should be, since this is a Jaguar, it's a cat. You wanna land on your 4 feet every time, and definitely I could feel the way that the contact patches, the 4 contact patches of the tires, really, really nice and balanced. And that's the thing that I think a lot of people like about this car, is that when you do turn up the wick, it just has great feedback that it communicates to you. But pulling out here, super smooth, back on throttle. You're waiting a little bit for the boost, nothing too long. I'm gonna put in a manual shift mode and really see how it changes the personality of this cat. But back on throttle. The dash is absolutely beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love the way it flashes red as you get to the red line, which is great. On the brakes, 4th gear, 3rd gear, 2nd gear, nice turning. Of course I'm wanting more. And the great news is you can option this either with the 6 or the supercharged V8. It's nice to have the variety for people who don't necessarily, like I said, want to do 0 to 60 in 3.1 seconds, which, guess what? The 550 horsepower Jag F-Type R can do that. But the TFT display that they have for the dash, super clean, super clear. All the touches in here are very, very high end. I mean, the finishes are great. I love the way gloss black is at a minimum. And just, you have that unique car that you just don't see very often. All right, guys, we have the top down. This makes the car that much better, that much more special of a car, being able to have that top down. Pulling away, you can hear that exhaust note a little bit more. But on throttle, drops down. Just puts a smile on your face. You know, is it gonna blow the doors off of the competition? No, but it's nice to have that flexibility that if you want the top down fun, you can have the top down fun. And of course, if you want to spend more money, you can have a convertible R with the supercharged power. So whatever floats your boat. But just wanted to kind of showcase what it was like having the top down. Seats are great, especially that they're ventilated during this time of the year. Everything is laid out very nicely. The top operation is super smooth, super quick. There's really not a lot of zonks to the interior. I just think, like I said, that price point is probably gonna be the biggest zonk. If this was about $10,000 cheaper, I think it'd be a little bit more palatable compared to what else you could get. But remember, you gotta look that this is a Jaguar, it's an F-Type. It has a certain prestige to it that some people are willing to pay for. All right, guys, one last bit of twisty bits. I'm gonna put in manual shift mode. Here we go, 2nd gear on throttle. On the brakes. What's really nice is when you shift, you do get a little pop from the exhaust, which I really like. But very balanced. The car is balanced. You don't feel, obviously, with the amount of power you have, you don't feel like you're overpowering the rear wheels with it being a rear-wheel drive sports car. And you have that classic style. Guys, we're gonna merge onto the highway, do a little highway driving with the top up, just to really get a listen for the road noise in here. It really is not too bad. Obviously, with the top up, you're gonna have the fabric, the seal is gonna let a little bit more air into the cabin. That's gonna create a little bit more wind noise and a little bit more road noise. But it's one of those things that you come to expect if you are in a cloth top convertible. I mean, it's a compromise. You go hard top, and even hard top convertibles can still have some extra wind noise that you're not gonna get on a standard coupe. Super smooth though, and these seats I feel like I could really drive for a long period of time, even though this is a 2-seat sports car. So that's really the great news, is that this is a car that you could really enjoy over a long day and not get beat up like maybe some other 2-seat sports cars. Plenty of room in here, being 6 feet tall. With the top up, I got plenty of headroom. So that's a really great sign as well. And I do like the new dash. I think that's probably one of my favorite parts on this 2021, is them going to that virtual style cockpit, which is really nice. But we're gonna go ahead, get back to Dimmitt Jag, also known as Jaguar Clearwater, and wrap this one up. So I'll see you in a split second. Guys, it's been a wonderful day here at Jaguar Clearwater. I definitely gotta thank Chris and the whole crew for getting us access to this British racing green, redesigned, refresh, updated 2021 Jaguar F-Type. Is it worth the price? That's really a subjective question. I mean, it's got such a beautiful style that's gonna separate you from the rest of the crowd. And yes, are there other less expensive options out there for vehicles that have even more performance? Of course. But I think that's what makes the car world so amazing and awesome, is that we all don't want a C8 Corvette. We kind of want a variety. And for somebody who wants that classic drop top style, but yet doesn't really care about, you know, doing a quarter mile in 10 seconds, this could be the perfect car for them. But I'm glad that Jaguar is still making them. But if it's cars like these iconic sports cars that you want to keep seeing on Rady's Rise, leave a comment in the comment section. If you're new and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile. Come back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rise family. If you want to help us keep making great content just for you on the channel, click the link in the description, get yourself some Rady's Rise merch. Got to get it up to wonderful Victor, working that camera like a champ that he is. Check him out on Instagram at Victor Scott Wang. He really has not only a great eye for detail, but a true passion for cars, and that's why we love him so much. So thank you, Victor, for your hard work. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.